it's supposed to feel.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the North Shore 9 Postgame Show. Pirates win 5-0. I'm here with Doug. I'm Neil. Doug, did anything interesting happen tonight?
Well, we started Revis and Alika Williams and Josh Palacios. I can't think of yes, something interesting happened tonight. Actually, a couple of interesting things.
Yeah.
Listen, I was on the post-game show with Jim yesterday. We were quite despondent, quite hopeless, right? This game does not change that all that much.
Nope.
However, when you're playing out the stretch, when you're just what you want to see is guys that are going to be here next year, guys that you are counting on to perform, right? And Oviedo pitches a complete game 2-hit shutout. And Brian Hayes, playing wonderful defense, has 4 hits and a walk.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, right, this team's not going anywhere. There's not much to be enthused about this time of year, but these are the kind of things I don't want to see Rivas and Alika Williams leading us to victories, right? You want it to be Andy Rodriguez and Henry Davis and Brian Reynolds and Brian Hayes and again, what a wonderful, terrific start from Johan Oviedo. We've been asking for consistency from him. I think it's his 13th start with 1 or less runs. That's unbelievable.
I think it's 2 or less, but yeah, no, you're right.
2 or less. Okay,
Yeah, no, it could be, but no, you're right. Oviedo is such a conflicting character, isn't he? Because he at one hand he'll look like that because you can see the stuff every single time he goes out on the mound. You can tell there's an MLB starter there, even a good one, and he just is not always there. But man, tonight. He was special.
Yeah.
It was one of those things where the Royals, you could just tell the Royals were not going to be competitive tonight.
Right. And I say, quite frankly, the Royals are not a good team. But it doesn't matter because how often have we gone into a series, I was mentioning that I think Jim yesterday is that, we ran into that at the start of June. We had Milwaukee and the Cubs, and we were all excited. Oh, we've got Milwaukee and the Cubs. They're mediocre. We were still in first place, even though we had a terrible month of May. And I think we lost 6 straight. Right? So we are not a good enough team. The Pirates are not a good enough team to say, oh, we've got Kansas City and St. Louis coming up. We're just going to eat this week.
Yeah. But we have kind of handled our business against the state of Missouri this year.
Yeah.
which is something that really doesn't happen very often.
Right. Oh, definitely not.
But I think it really speaks to them. I think our last 2 wins, both of our pitchers have had to go 8 innings. Yeah. I think the last one was Keller going 8, right?
I think I think you're right.
And it kind of just tracks. It really does track back to that month of April, where when we won games because our starters went 6 innings, we weren't having 3 bullpen games a day, and
right. It was we can say 16 consecutive quality starts, right?
Yeah, something crazy like that. But not to detract because what Johan Oviedo did tonight was special. You just don't, even against a bad team like the Royals, a complete game shutout is still really impressive.
Right. Yeah, I don't care who it is, and especially in this day and age in baseball, especially with this team, especially with the fact that they're sort of managing his innings. I think he threw 112 pitches. A career high in pitches. A lot of things had to happen, for that start to happen, and I'm glad because I didn't think he was coming back out after 97. After he threw 97 pitches through 8 innings, and I wanted him to. I wanted to see it.
See it, and the little thing in me is I don't know how I felt about him going out there for the 9th. only because like we said, this is a lost season.
Right.
Do you really want to risk a Johan like a Johan injury? Like, do you really want to risk like a Johan Santana type deal?
No.
Like that was the one thing that was going through my mind. But like, he did his job. Like it was absolutely fantastic tonight.
Yeah, he was. He was terrific. And my goodness, if we could get, I mean, it doesn't have to be that good, but that kind of just command. And I don't even mean his control, but just the commanding presence he had. The approach. I mean, he's calling his own pitches. I mean, he had a plan. He executed it. He got some nice defensive plays behind him. But generally speaking, it was him. He handled that lineup. I think Mike just said he was efficient, and he needed it because I think we've got 7 straight bullpen games coming up. So it'll be nice. It was nice to see one guy. This
is the first time we've had 2 non-bullpen games in a row. It was Daly Falter and Oviedo. But I mean, like that's the big thing is that like Oviedo, even when he has those nights where he's good, but like he's not efficient as a pitcher. He throws a lot of balls outside the zone. He manages to work out of it. I mean, tonight he was just throwing 2 pitches in the zone consistently, his fastball slider, and the Royals could not touch him.
Right. That has been the problem with both him and Keller is that they've been 5 and 6 inning pitchers a lot of the times, even in their good starts. That it's a lot of strikeouts, but it's they have 3 and 2 on everybody. They walk a couple guys, they give up a couple hits here and there, and they just don't work efficiently. And yet tonight, right? He's having 7 and 8 pitch innings and just pop ups and grounders.
It was huge. Like I never felt like worried that the Royals were ever going to score a run, and I think that's a nice change of pace from the Cubs scoring 10 on us every time they look at in our general direction. Like only 5 strikeouts, but like it doesn't matter when you're getting such soft contact. Like tonight was like if Ray Searage could have a pitching performance, it would be Johan Oviedo tonight.
Right.
4 hard hit balls all day, 2 hits, 2 walks, littering the strike zones, like making Royals hitters swing.
Yeah, I mean it was the 3 pitch outcome that Searage and Huntington were always kind of pushing for, which I prefer. I mean, I love it when Keller gets 12 strikeouts. It's fun, but he leaves in the 6th inning, and the potential for a good bullpen is there, but it's not quite there yet. And I would rather see 8 innings of Mitch Keller and 8 innings, 9 innings of Oviedo than bringing in most of these, non-Bednar fellows, right?
Yeah, it's just kind of like the nature of the game, though. MLB hitters are so good that you have to be able to put some away, or they're going to punish you. Yeah. And so tonight, Oviedo, you really have 0 complaints, even if it would have been nice if you had a couple more strikeouts. But like, it's such a clutch performance, and I think it kind of goes to show that if the Pirates are going to be anything good next year, they really need to hit on their free agent pitching signings, because we are good when our pitching is good.
Right. Well, I mean, we do not look like we're putting together a big run scoring machine, right? It was nice. It was nice tonight. They sort of just put a few in here, put a few in there, kept kind of tacking on, which was nice to see. But right, we're not going to be an offensive juggernaut. Dear Lord, hopefully we'll improve next year. Having Cruz back, hopefully Henry and Endy can get their things going. Hopefully Brian Hayes can do this for an entire season. I know it's we got some voodoo. Can we sacrifice a virgin as something? It's only been 3 weeks, but this has been the best 3 weeks of his career outside his debut. I think he's had some 10 games and some 2 weeks, but I don't think he's ever put 3 weeks together like this that I can recall.
See, and I think if the numbers even show that, like, it's been more than 3 weeks, I think I saw something like his OPS has been in the 850s for
the month of August. Well, I guess
even since like June. Like I think like Jim says, like it has been almost 2 months of this. Like ever since the start of June. Like like it is the longest stretch of his career where he has been a good hitter.
Right.
OPS up 745. His WRC plus is now at 97.
I mean, I'm
he's so close to being a league
batting average. His batting average is 269. I think now, right?
Yeah, like, and I think that's a good segue into the offense because like it was the Cabrian Hayes show tonight, wasn't it? I mean, only one RBI, but like 4 for 4. And yes, it is against the second worst team in baseball by a very wide margin. But like he's been doing it against everyone. It doesn't matter who he's facing. He has been mashing the ball. He's been mashing the ball hard in the air. He's driving in runs. He's not just hitting singles. He's been the complete package now for about 2 months, and it's really exciting.
And I mean, it was against Zach Greinke. I understand he's not been having a great year, but that's been the kind of pitcher that's crushed us all year long. Mm-hmm. Guys that were formerly Dallas Keuchel, Patrick Corman, all these kind of guys that their glory is long behind them, but they're still crafty. And we have a bunch of guys who don't know how to hit. So, they're striking them out left and right. Cabrian Hayes appears to be a guy that can hit right now. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you have a Cy Young up on the shelf anymore. He's really good.
I think I can speak for both of us that after that second inning, I was just like, oh, it's going to be one of those games. Load up the bases.
First inning, first and second. Right.
Yeah. Load up the bases with no out.
Rivas.
Get one run out of it because of a double play. I was like, okay, great. This is going to be a really boring game. We're going to lose like 2-1.
Right. Exactly. I thought, oh no, here we go. Zach Greinke's going to, we're going to have him on the ropes early. We're going to do nothing. Right. Mm-hmm. The first inning, first 2 runners on, nothing happens. Bases loaded. You get 1 run on a double play. I'm like, oh, it's going to be just like you said, it's going to be that night where we might score off of a ground out and then a sacrifice fly, but we're not going to put anything together.
Yeah. And, it felt like that for sure. But luckily we were blessed. Luckily we were, it was a pretty decent offense. I don't think I have too many complaints from the offensive side for once. Like, a lot of people got hits. No home runs, but Kaufman's kind of a cavern, so that makes sense. Big I think Endy had one that in a lot of ballparks would have been gone. Someone can correct me on this, but no, 5 runs. It was a pretty easy, comfortable win in the offensive job.
Right. Yeah. Again, the recipe for winning, score more than 4 runs, have your pitcher give up. We had all the little things, right? You score early, you continue to add, you get great pitching, you play good defense, you don't run yourself out of innings. That's a recipe. I mean, the team is now 13-11 in August. Again, I was pretty depressed yesterday. I was out there on the ledge a little bit. Again, we had 3 guys in the starting lineup tonight that you probably shouldn't have. Those, like, one of those guys should be allowed to be on the roster, right? As a 26 man. Yeah. You shouldn't have 3 of them starting, but even they contributed in a way.
You had Alfonso Rivas. Every time he did something good, like he took like 2-step back. I think he got thrown out on the base paths twice. The one time he knocked in a run wasn't even RBI. Alfonso Rivas is not a Major League Baseball player. Alika Williams is not a Major League Baseball player. It feels like we just have Marcano and we have Michael Chavis again.
Yeah.
And just different manifestations.
And at this point, again, I know Nick Gonzalez struggled, but he's hit. I'd rather see Nick Gonzalez struggling because at least we might find something out, right? I do not. Again, if Alika Williams is the 26th man on the roster next year because he can play a good defensive shortstop because we're concerned about Cruz, fine, right? I can live with that. I still wouldn't be happy. I'd rather just have Peguero, and he doesn't look very good at short, but if he's playing second base, he could slide over there once in a while, that sort of thing. I mean, Rivas, I don't think they're a first baseman that can't hit. I mean, I understand it's sort of a staple of the Pirates for the last 30 years, but man, I mean, since at least Kevin Young, I guess I take that.
Josh Bell, I guess, but
yeah,
I mean,
Josh Bell too.
To be fair, to Rivas, he did have 2 doubles tonight. 2 hits, 2 doubles, 1 RBI. Like, you know, it was probably his best game since the Brewers series at the beginning of the month.
Right.
When he first came over,
when he first got here, he almost hit for the cycle, right?
Yeah, that would it ages ago. But I mean,
yeah, bookending the month with good games is not enough.
I'll say this much: we scored 5 runs today, but I mean, if you look at that 4 through 9 today,
yeah,
it's not great.
No, it's frustrating to see. And I mean, but year 4 of a rebuild. You would think that even after you made some deadline trades, that you would have real major leaguers, at least. Not Hall of Famers, not All-Stars, but just, you know, guys like, you know, guys with 740 OPS, right? You know,
yeah.
Not guys with a bunch of, you know, low 6s, you know. But
yeah, and like, you know, you've had guys who've shown a lot of potential, but then have kind of fallen off. And I think 2 guys like that are Sawinski and Piguero. Piguero's kind of quietly fallen off a cliff. You know, I've seen a lot of people like wonder, like, you know, why is he getting days off? And I think there's some validity to that, but also like he just hasn't been hitting recently.
Right. Yeah, it's a tough question because you're right. He probably needs days off. But then when he takes days off, it's because Vinny Capra and Alika Williams, you know, are playing guys that you don't necessarily think are going to be a part of a future of a successful team. You know, if they break, you know, camp next year, I think something's gone bad. You know, not that they, you know, perform so well. So,
and Derek Shelton is such a good manager. He can get 5 runs out of this lineup.
Yeah, exactly. Another masterclass, right?
Yeah, right, exactly.
we put that lineup together and got 5 runs.
Well, we need to get intrigued somewhere in the show, and then we'll have our post-game bingo.
I am intrigued by both Oviedo and Cabrian Hayes right now.
I think that's true because like I cannot like buy into like the pessimist in me cannot like buy into Cabrian fully being back and that Oviedo is fully going to be like a 3-starter, but like there is joy to be had here.
Yeah. I mean, in a long, dreadful season, you've got to embrace. You know, and these were, you don't see 4-hit games too often anymore. Pitching is so good. You know, positioning the fielders is so good. And yeah, so a guy gets a 4-hit game, especially a guy that you've been dying, you know, who sometimes would go a week or often went a week without getting 4 hits. You know, to get 4 hits, to draw a walk, be on base 5 times.
No,
right? Yeah. And then a complete game out of your pitcher.
Yeah.
Hail,
yeah, like, I think if like even these higher teams have been bad. Like we've had some really weird things. Like we've had 2 complete game shutouts this year, and it was last year we won 2 games without getting a hit.
Yeah,
yeah.
I know other teams have like odd and strange things happen too, but man, do we? I mean, and I know it's like, you know, we're not. Kansas City probably has a bunch of weird stuff too, right? Because I mean, they're terrible. You know, their fans are probably like, "Why does this always happen to us?" Right? And so I know that's part of it because we watch the Pirates, unfortunately, every night, and so it's just like how we just found another way to snatch defeat out of the jaws of victory. You know, it's like, is that can that happen?
Yeah.
Right? And sure enough, we can do it. But again. 13 and 11 in the month of August, right? A solid, beyond solid, outstanding performance from Oviedo.
I think it's nothing short of a miracle that we've been 13 and 11 in August, considering how many bullpen days we've been running out there.
Right,
but like I think it's something to like that really should be noted because like we we're giving a bulk of innings to Andre Jackson and Thomas Hatch, and we are winning baseball games.
Right.
And obviously not tonight. Like tonight, this is the Oviedo show. He basically won us the game. And at the very least, even though we don't have a whole lot of starters up here, you feel confident going into next year with those two.
Right. Yeah, because we have no idea what's happening with Ortiz and Contreras. Priester obviously did not look good.
Well, apparently, even the Mariners pitching lab couldn't figure out what was wrong with
that
Contreras.
Couldn't figure out. And he needs to go wherever Keller went, North Carolina.
Yeah, the drive line maybe,
something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, they helped him get some velocity back, right? I mean,
yeah. Well, Keller went and got like 2 ticks of velocity, but also he just added an insane pitch arsenal.
Right.
So you can hope that for Contreras, but I feel like you really just gotta be active in this free agent market. It's tread. It's because you're probably not going to trade, because I don't know, no one's going to be offering you an Oviedo anymore. I think that ship's going to have to have been sailed. I don't want to
package all these fourth outfielders and middle infielders for anything, right? I mean, you can trade for a lottery pick or something, but you're not. You
get Christian Wolf,
right?
But I think, and kind of a nice reunion, but he has been good this year. The Mets are looking the dump. The Mets are looking the dump guys.
Right.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, Jose Quintana is right there.
Yeah. Didn't he sign?
He's not signed 2-year deal. He's only going to make $13 million next year. You can pay that.
Yeah.
And he would be a really good person who's already worked with Oscar Marin, who did well under Oscar Marin,
and believed in what Oscar was doing, and it worked for him.
And so I have to look at that and say, like, that makes sense. But like, to keep it in the terms of the post-game show, like, these performances are great. Like, you want the stuff from Keller, you want the stuff from Oviedo. You see 2 people in your starting rotation, and you add Paul Skeens into the mix. Go get some more guys. Please fill out this rotation, please.
I mean, it would be great.
Because
I'm not convinced they're going to. I know everybody seems to think they are, but
I have zero confidence. No confidence that we trade for Quintana.
Yeah. But even I'm not even sure that they're going to go get Velasquez type, right? Because I think they can say, we've got Jared Jones and we've got Salameto and we've got Paul Skeens and I think they're going to just be sort of buy into the success they've had with these bullpen games. They're like, oh yeah, we can patch together a bullpen game at any time. Look at you.
And I know he was bad yesterday, but I think I said it before, I don't hate piggybacking Bailey Falter. I really don't.
I'm a firm believer he's in the rotation next year. Not because he deserves it, but because
I think 4 or 5 innings with the Falter combined with an Andre Jackson, I think, is actually a pretty decent way of filling out that 5th rotation spot, because your other options aren't looking too hot. And then that allows you to do something like move JT Brubaker to the bullpen, where I think he'd be really good. Maybe you put Luis Ortiz in the bullpen too, because I don't think he has the makeup to be a starter. But like, no, I think the frustrating thing, because like we've been really despondent, right? And I think we've been fair to be despondent, but like, there is actual talent in the system. There is a lot. There's actually quite a bit of talent.
But that's what's more frustrating.
The development hasn't been there, but like, you do get some success stories, and I think I think we can be at the point where like we can say Oviedo is a success story. And I don't know if it's because of our development, but like, I think we were having debates months ago about whether or not he should even be in the rotation. And I think
all of North Shore 9 thought he was a bullpen arm. Not to mention
will
most of Twitter, but North Shore 9 for sure.
I will plant my flag in that I thought he should be in the rotation this whole year. But I agree. I remember talking with DiNardo about it and Tyler about it. Like, I don't know how, unless the Pirates like get like 4 really good starting pitchers in the offseason, I don't know how you move them out of this rotation.
No, I don't see. I mean, they would have to sign 3 legitimate starters, I think, before they could even and he still would be in there in my book. It'd be Keller, him, and the 3 guys that they signed. Right there is nobody in our organization other than Paul Skeens, that would be that you'd put ahead of. And I don't think that Skeens is going to start the on the opening day roster. I mean, if best case scenario, I think it's June 13th. So yeah, I mean, he should be a starter. He's earned the right to be a starter. I think. I mean, my goodness, he has some terrible, terrible starts. He really does. He has those blow up games, but if he could limit those, right, and I know the hardest thing to do in Major League Baseball is become consistent. That's the difference maker between average and good and great. But I mean, he's got the pitches, he's got the frame. He's got the movement. He's got velocity. He maybe.
I mean, I think he's pitched consistently enough. And like, I think something that's important to note is like, he just has never had this kind of workload in the majors ever. Before this year, he had pitched 62 innings, is the most innings he's ever pitched in the majors. He is now at 154. I think he's about 100, almost 100 over like his total innings limit. Like, and how old is he again? Like he's 25 years old. Like,
right.
I think those growing pains are always going to be there.
Absolutely.
But like
when we draft a guy or acquire a guy, we set a schedule of when he's supposed to be here. But that hardly. I mean, that's not how it works. We say it all the time. Development's not linear. I mean, there's large steps forwards and steps back. He is having the growing pains of a young starting pitcher in his first full season as a starter. So I mean, there's no reason to believe from what we've seen that thus far that he cannot improve. Next year. And again, I mean, to me, he is a core part of the future moving forward as a starter.
Yeah. I mean, let's put it this way. The most valuable thing you can have in this league is young, cheap, talented starting pitching.
Right.
He has 1 more year until he's ARB eligible. He's not a free agent until 2028.
Right.
He has to be here as a member of the – and if let's put it this way. If the Pirates next year have him as his 4 starter, that means the rotation's probably doing pretty darn good.
Absolutely. And if they're going to be able to afford a good free agent pitcher, on their budget, they need the Oviedos of the world to give you 4-5 years of, like you said, cheap starting pitching.
Yeah. And I mean, just going down the list here, I mean, you're probably, if you are signing someone, you're probably looking at like a Mike Clevenger.
Yeah.
I don't think, and
that's my dream.
I
25 million a year.
Yeah.
5 years, 125. And it still wouldn't do, the payroll would still not be very high. So,
yeah, I mean, and you can't expect a big jump in payroll. So, I mean,
nope.
And you're hoping that, Keller and Oviedo also take steps forward next year, so they're even better. Like, I think we said there's a lot of there is talent on this roster, but there's also just so many black holes that have to be filled.
Right. Yeah, we've gone back to where we were in the first 3 years, of Cherington, where 5 through 9, often 4 through 9 is just an easy trip through the lineup for a pitcher.
Yeah,
and it makes it easier for them to sort of pitch around the top couple guys. Say, hey, you can put Reynolds and Kutch on and never have to throw them a strike because the next couple guys are not bringing them in, right?
Yeah, correct.
So it'd be nice to get some lengthen this lineup out, something we've been talking about for years. And that, again, I think that's only going to come internally. It's Endy, it's Henry, it's Cruz, it's Brian Hayes. If those guys can become above average Major League Baseball players, and we continue to get the kind of the pitching that we've really got most of this year. The pitching has not been the problem most of this year. At this point, they're, like I said, they're a little fried, and injuries have taken its toll, and having to try to win 1-0 games has worn them down somewhat, I believe. And just the travails of youth. Like moving forward, you can see a rotation. You can see some, like I said, some talent in that pitching. And if we could get string together an offense that could get 4 runs a game, we might have the makings.
You hope so. And I guess to be entirely fair, like, the free agent signings for the most part have, even though they're like 1-year deals and they all get dealt at the deadline, like, are pretty serviceable in terms of MLB talent. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
So like
one thing he does is,
I mean, I guess because you don't need, like, you're bringing Kutch back, right? You're like, that's going to happen. You're bringing back Kutch, like Hayes and Reynolds. If you have those as legit hitters, great. Then you have Endy, one of Endy and Davis become a good hitter. Like, you are starting to, like, and you have Cruz back. Like, you're starting to see the construction of, like, an actual decent lineup.
Right. Those first 5 guys, right, could be.
And then, like, you fill in the gaps with the Carlos Santana.
I believe he's coming back. So
I would be shocked. I would legitimately be shocked. But I guess I wouldn't hate it.
No, I'm not thrilled with it. It just, I don't know. You hear Greg Brown still talking about him, and that seems like he got a memo from above. Talk about what a great leader he was. Talk about how they all loved him, and because he's coming back next year, and we want to have some positives to say about that.
Yep. Well, I think we've exhausted the game. Really easy Pirates win. We hit the ball hard. We scored runs. Johan Oviedo, first complete shutout a complete game shutout in his career, should be. Fantastic performance. He's obviously the man of the game. Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah, he was given a run for his money by Brian Hayes. Which is, it's nice. You had a guy throw a complete game shutout, and you could still talk about, an offensive player doing great things. I would like to mention that today on Starbucks, Jim Rosati predicted the Pirates would sweep the Kansas City Royals, and he and I will be on the show Wednesday, so I will hold him accountable. Hopefully, he'll get to crow a little. So
we should sweep, but then we also lost the series to the A's. So
right. No, it's entirely possible that this week we can surpass our win total of last year. Right. It's entirely possible. So. Yeah, I'm at 62. It's we need 4 more wins to do that, which that's shameful that's the win total. But you got to take every little bone you can get in a season like this, with a team like this, with a general manager like this.
I would agree. And you enjoy games like tonight. It was a pleasure to watch. And. I think we need to go 500 the rest of the way to match, like, our Fangraphs projected win total, which I guess isn't completely out of the picture.
No, I mean, so they've been. I think they're something like 18-8. I mean, it's something. They were 16-15 at one point, and then the Cubs came to town. So
I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but I think if you remove the games against the Brewers and the Cubs, we're a 500 team.
Yeah.
But all right,
what is that? 3 wins, I think.
2 wins. 2 wins all year. It's like 2. It's like 2-16 or something like that.
Oh, man.
But we get an easy team right now. Hopefully, we take advantage of it. Tomorrow we have. Come on. We have TBD versus Reagan's.
Yeah.
8-10.
So let's see it's gonna be. Is it Andre Jackson? Is it? Yeah, I don't know. It's a bullpen game. Right.
So I hope you all trickle down in and see the post game tomorrow. I will be fired by Jim for making that fun, but I hope you all have a great night. Thanks.
We made it this far.
In.
Yeah, we made it this far into the season. I'm surprised I'm still allowed on. So, I thought I was going to be done after the third week of April. So,
yeah. Guess we did all right for a couple of goofballs.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we'll catch you later. Have a good night.
Thanks for joining us, guys.
Yeah,
check back with us tomorrow. Watch Starbucks if you haven't, and and I'll be here Wednesday night, hopefully talking about the sweep.
And I will be here tomorrow complaining about Luis Ortiz. Have a good night, y'all.
Hey, you all. Thank you for watching. I know we try to provide the most entertaining content that we can, and we'd love to spread it to as many people as possible. So I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you could take the 5 seconds to like this video and subscribe to the page, it helps out so much more than you know. Thank you, and let's go Bucks.